Mic check 1, 2, 3.
Mic check 1, 2. Mic check 1, 2.
Might let us know in the comments if we have audio. Go ahead, do your mic check.
Mic check 1, 2.
Now y'all let us know. Here we go.
No.
Ready? Welcome aboard, ladies and gentlemen. How about a little Sunday
Saturday.
Hold
No,
on,
you
hold
thinking
on.
you thinking
Hold
pro?
on,
No.
Hold on. Restart.
Restart.
Let's have a do-over.
Let's do over. That's right.
Because when you do 3 games in 3 days, and you do some of the traveling we did this week, you get delirious. Let's try this again.
Let's go. One
Welcome
more time.
aboard, ladies and gentlemen. A little Saturday recap show coming at you live into your living rooms. We are live from Gary Swallow's Taekwondo Martial Arts building here in Opelousas, Louisiana. What a big week 1 it was. Weather was a big factor. A lot of scores really flipped games on its heads where we said, we look like some dummies on Wednesday. And a lot of games, Gary, where you said, okay, we thought they were contenders. We got to back those statements up. Gary, we said the big dogs, who would have thought that we would see some of our 3 locals that are primed and usually never lose those week 1 openers. We got a couple of them that are 0-1 right now, my friend. We covered 3 great games over the last 3 days. Thank you to the coaching staffs, the administrations for having us. Week 1, we really set this season off to a great start. It's going to be an incredible 15-week journey, my friend.
You're right, Jordy. I think it is, like I said, as of now, everything is in a whirlwind because we don't know who's doing what, but we also don't know how much of this was a result of just the weather. You know, they had a lot of weather. They had some games that had 8, 10, 12 turnovers, fumbles and all that. So, I mean, we don't know how that is, but guess what? It's going to be interesting going forward.
Ready to see some of these teams play on dry fields to get a better outlook of their team this season, what to expect moving forward.
Right.
Gary, some games were moved across the state, played at different fields.
Right.
Moved to Saturday. We just got back from a Saturday game.
Right.
And you think about it, there's 2 games getting ready to play right now.
Right.
As we speak, Jeanerette and Patterson are kicking off right now. And then as you speak, 6 o'clock kickoff will be Peabody and LaGrange. So 2 more games going on that we know of on a Saturday to wrap up week 1. So not quite there, but we got a ton of scores to talk about here today.
Correct. Like I said, man, this is interesting, but this is probably the hardest week 1 that we've had since we've been doing this.
Yes.
So it's crazy. And, we've seen games with people that were really, really strong in our eyes and our minds and our book, everything that we've looked for. And then all of a sudden we're realizing that they're not as strong as that we thought they were. But, like I said, the weather had a lot to do with a lot of things. I mean, we saw some sloppy games on Friday. We saw some sloppy games on Thursday. We saw some sloppy games on Friday. And
then we just left with Winburn today.
Yeah, look at it. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm red all over. He's red all over. I mean, the wind was blowing as well as the sun. It felt great while we were calling the game, but oh man, I can feel it now. It's got that little burn.
There you go. Hey, if your team is a big winner here in week 1, shout them out in the comment section. We would love to hear from you this evening. LSU kicking off in about an hour and a half or so, so we will not keep you long, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go through these scores. We're going to give you our thoughts on some of these teams. Gary, we're going to give games of the week this week.
Right.
Which ones were ours? You narrowed it down to 3. I had 9 right here because there was so much good football here in week 1.
Right. I limited myself to 3. So, and Jordy was scratching his head. He couldn't help himself. He had like 9 in some of them. So I was like, oh man, you got to calm down. I said, this is just week 1.
Gary, and then upsets across the state. Boy, did we have a few.
Yes, we did, Jordy. We had a couple wows, couple ones we didn't see coming. And we're going to talk about that in the next few minutes.
And then also, how about UTL statement win of the week? Guess what, my friend? There is a bunch to pick from because there were statements all across the state of Louisiana.
Yeah, well, I got a few of them, and it's going to be interesting. I got 3. I try to limit myself to 3 every week, and
something
it helps me.
Something might pop up whenever we start talking about these teams.
You
might have to add 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, we might have to do that, but as of now, like I said, I got 3 of each.
And then we will give UTL helmet stickers of the week. Some teams that we really thought deserves it.
Correct. There's a few of them out there that really do deserve it, and I'm excited. My phone ain't doing right. I'm real excited for some of them, and but man, like I said, you picked a good group of games to call that made this very difficult. But man, at least now we're going to start seeing
see some identities start to come into play.
Where these teams are going and the identity. You know, we had some that we thought were going to be better than they showed this weekend, but that's, like I said, this is just week 1.
And week 1, those records ain't going to look good from Wednesday.
You're right. You're right.
But now we have something to go off of. We know who's good, who's going to be great, who that we should stay away from.
Correct. I'm excited about that because, like I said, this is high school football. You know, you want good games, you want challenges, you want upsets, you want a little bit of everything, and you know what? That's part of the game.
Absolutely, my friend. We also will get you ready for week 2 as we close the door on week 1. We got some of these games right now just to get you a little excited for week 2 because week 1 was going to be hard to tops, but week 2, you got some big-time football games awaiting a week from now.
You're right, Jordy. You're right. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be really, really interesting to see how the season's going to pan out because for today's game that we went to see, we had a couple key injuries in my book that I saw. We had a running back and a quarterback basically go out. You know, and
one returned though.
One did return, but I mean, it cost them. I think it cost them in the whole thing because when you lose a key player like that, I think it's gonna. It just took a little bit more of a toll. We'll talk about that game in a minute.
Absolutely. Let's check out those comments at this time before we dive into some games. Devin Staub says the show must go on, and we're going to rock this thing all the way to the Superdome in Week 15.
You're right, my friend. You are so right.
Mr. Vest says, go Jackets. Mr. Vest was actually on the chain crew from Thursday night dealing with the weather, so I'm sure he got his steps in that night. A cook by day, chain crew member by night. Mr. Vest, should have brought your umbrella that.
Yeah.
Because it poured down on you guys.
It sure did.
Sam Baker says, let's go. Still want to know what you're cooking over there, Sam. Steaks tonight for the big game? Landon Guillory says, Westlake with a big win. Absolutely. Jason Saunier, go Yellow Jackets. Still expecting that food week 4.
Yes.
Logan Marketel says, go Jackets. And he also says, be careful when y'all come to Kinder when y'all decide to eat Jason's cooking.
Okay. We're gonna leave it at that.
Yes, indeed. Kirk Taylor, evening, fellas. Glad to see y'all yesterday. Yeah, Kirk, we almost went to the emergency room last night. You and Gary almost brought me fail.
Somebody wiped out right about there, and we had to look at him, make sure he was okay.
Yeah, it was not a pretty scene.
After we made sure he was all right, we did have a good laugh about it, though.
An unexpected fall after a late night of football. Let's see what happens. Ms. Boudreaux says Vermilion Catholic. Absolutely. The Screaming Eagles set the tone of the season, my friend.
Right on, Pecan. It was. I tell you what, that was one of the hardest games that we had to pick and everything like that. I mean, but I tell you what, they showed their
senior leadership.
They showed their what they are made of, and I was
when
very.
You got Dortez at quarterback,
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna go places, my friend.
Most definitely.
Kurt says, "See y'all next week." Yes, indeed. A-Bear says, "How about those North Vermilion Patriots? How about Coach Moy?" Yes, indeed, and the Patriots.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb says, "Kinder looked good today." Yes, indeed. Teaspoon, Eunice High, head high. I'm not sure what that means. Okay. I read it wrong. Eunice High, keeping their heads high.
Oh, yes. I mean,
they played well last
Eunice
night.
had nothing to, be sad about it. You know, they played a hard game,
yes,
and that's all that matters. It was great to visit with Coach Trosclair.
Yes, in the press box.
In the press box, and I've been knowing Coach Trosclair for a long time, and I hadn't seen him in a while. I know he's been going through some medical issues, and I'm gonna tell you, one of the nicest guys I've ever met, and it's a pleasure to talk football with that man.
Absolutely. Miss Tessino says, "Go Vikings, big win for the Vikes." Damian Guillory says, "How about them Sacred Heart Trojans?
Right.
Feed the beast at number 23.
Right.
Yes, indeed. James Nazak, great job. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much for that. Corey Brody says, Lakeshore High, 34-14, big winners, 1-0. Coach Brody, got that defense cooking over there.
You right.
Great game by Coach Reed and the coaching staff and players. Miss Ella says, let's go Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
Staub says Notre Dame over Southside. Big grit Pios this season. And he says Edie White over Holy Cross. Bring on Jesuit, 4 straight home games to start out. And then Miss Colley says, let's go Bunky. A lot to talk about here. And Naya says, see y'all next Friday night.
Yeah, buddy.
Ooh.
Might have a new person working the computer.
Yes, indeed. We'll see if we can hire Miss Naya to the staff.
Yeah. We'll treat it to some good food.
Gary, time to jump into some of these games. Thoughts, concerns, reactions. We give what we have here.
Right.
Limited information because we've been on the road for 3 days.
Correct.
So we're gonna jump right into these games here. We're gonna start off with Westlake over Rosepine. Heard Westlake was improved, my friend, and they had to do was go out and show it, and they went out and showed it today. In the Jamboree, they had I forgot who they was playing, but they had them the lead on them and came back and lost at the end. So they wanted to come back out this week and get a big win, and they did. The game got moved to Saturday. 50-6, Westlake starting the season off the right way.
Right, and like I said, that first that Jamboree loss, that really come back and it kind of woke them up a little bit. But a Jamboree's a Jamboree. But this is for the big marbles, and I'm gonna tell you, they really showed their strengths last night and tonight, or this one was today. Huh?
Yes, it was rescheduled from Thursday.
Yeah, this one was today, and I'm gonna tell you that they just put it on them.
It was Iowa in the Jamboree. Iowa came back and won that game.
Right, exactly. And but they just put it together and they showed their dominance in this game.
Yes, indeed. Congratulations there. Grand Lake East Bowden met in the telephone booth on Thursday night. It was how you can say that? The field was atrocious.
Yes.
Muddy as can be, and the better running game was going to win that one because sloppy conditions to play in. And Grand Lake handles business 29-8. Great win for the program. Looking forward to see what Grand Lake has moving forward.
Right. It's good to see them established. But like you said,
Coach Wainwright, if I'm not mistaken, at Grand Lake.
The field conditions was, like you said, atrocious. And you had the best running game there and that pretty much dominated. And it's good to see him starting off 1-0.
Yeah, keeping a close eye on Grand Lake moving forward. You better believe it, Gary. They're a contender in that district.
Yes.
Shifting gears, Centerville and Delco met on Thursday night. Not sure how much rain they got on their end of the state, but Centerville, no problems at home. Home opener with a veteran experienced squad coming back 32-0 over Delcom. Watch out for Centerville moving forward. This is the year where they putting all the pieces together, Gary. They got the veterans coming back, and they got the coaching staff to make a little push here.
Centerville has always been getting closer and closer all for the last few years. This is the year to where I think they may have all the pieces to make a district run.
Yes, indeed, my friend. And we saw them last year in the second round. I think this is year 3 of Coach Jefferson, so I'm expecting big things this year.
Yeah, I am too. I really love those guys over there, and they treat us very nice, and they're so respectful to us, and I'm so excited to see them do something this year.
Opelousas Catholic and Iota met on Thursday night, and Donald Gardner will never be the same after the way that they left the field that night, my friend. Somebody correct me in the chat, but 20-something fumbles combined. That's a tough night to be an offensive coordinator, but if you're the defensive coordinator, man, you're sleeping well that night.
Oh, most definitely. And, OC coming off of that performance they had in the Jamboree wasn't it wasn't very good. But,
shift gears and go get a big win. And
against Iota.
Yes, the way you look at it, Gary, both teams had to play in the same elements.
Oh, yes, most definitely.
So
that's why you had so many fumbles.
Yes, both teams had to play in the same elements. Opelousas Catholic gets a big home win, 20-14. That's a big win for them, knowing from the Jamboree. You move forward with some positive going into the season.
And like I said, you're going against somebody that you're not going against a slouch. Iota is a very good football team. And like I said, they both had to play in those elements, and OC came out on top. Congratulations to the Vikings.
Yeah, Vikings. A big fumble late in the end zone recovered by the Vikings. Really, the difference in the score here. Big win for the Vikes. Now they move on next week and go travel down to East Bow.
That's right. That's going to be interesting.
Iota gets an extra day of rest compared to their opponent next week.
Right.
And Kinder played today.
Yeah.
Iota played on Thursday, so we'll see how that one shapes out there.
An extra couple days, really.
Yes. Gary, how about ERAF and Loreauville tangling on Thursday night? This one right here, we all thought to ourselves, Loreauville could be the favorite here, but pouring down rain, and it's anybody's ball game.
Right. Even though you're playing on turf, it's still wet.
Slick,
it's still slick,
wet.
Everything like that. And ERAF came to play.
Yes.
They came to play.
And we saw them at the Jamboree a week ago, and we thought those guys had some fight in them.
Oh, yeah.
And when you gave them 4 quarters instead of the 2 halves that we saw, you could about imagine they were going to fight to the final whistle. And they go into Loreauville, not the easiest places to win at.
Right.
14-7 over Loreauville. ERAF, watch out.
Yeah, look out.
That's a big win for that program. Starting off 1-0 is always important no matter where you are.
ERAF was, we didn't know what kind of, skill players and everything that they were going to, what kind of, team they were going to have. Well, this is a good win for them over a tough Loreauville team.
Absolutely, my friend. How about Central Baton Rouge and De La Salle? This was LHSAA Network Game of the Week.
Wow.
And this one, not much scoring throughout, but we get out of here with a 14-3 win for Central of Baton Rouge. We're going to send our prayers. Once again, we sent our prayers Wednesday night, but we're still sending our prayers and still thinking about the quarterback at Central of Baton Rouge, and we hope for a speedy recovery.
Well, it was him and I think a couple of his other teammates that were all in there, but I think he got the worst of the deal, if I'm not mistaken. But, anytime you lose a player, whether he's a starter, whether he's not, it still affects the team. And they rose to the occasion. De La Salle is not an easy team to beat, and they did a good job.
So congratulations to Central Beat, or a lot of people sleepers to go make a run at this thing.
Right.
So they get check number 1 here in week 1. Start checking the boxes, my friend. Church Point North Vermilion, Coach Moy's debut over there for the Patriots, and just like Moy likes it, Gary,
Right.
he wants it to be a physical contest, and if it's raining, that's his style of football.
You are right.
Let's get down, let's go play, and let's see who's going to be the most physical football team. And on Thursday night, in the rain, in front of a packed house, North Vermilion and Coach Moy's debut start out 1-0. Couldn't be happier for a head football coach as he makes the transition
Right.
to North Vermilion.
And that game right there, that lets everybody know that North Vermilion is for real, and they're going forward, because Church Point's not an easy win.
It takes last week's loss in the Jamboree to
Right.
Eunice. You come back this week and you beat a Church Point. It's like,
Wow.
okay, you gave them a week to fix what was wrong,
Right.
and home opener,
yeah.
good win.
And
Very
like I
good
said, look out going forward. North Vermilion's going to be a force to be reckoned with.
Very important to get some wins in this non-district slate, because the district's loaded.
You're right. You're right, young man.
Jennings, Iowa, boy, was that exciting on Thursday night. Hey, tell you something, Gary. The quarterback for Iowa couldn't have played a better football game of just being a manager back there, get the ball to your playmakers. But he had himself quite a run at the end to say, don't forget about me.
I'm going to tell you, Dory, I got a chance to watch this game whenever y'all were broadcasting it. I didn't get a chance to go with y'all, but I got a chance to watch it. And, man, he's good.
Tell you what, Gary, your job is a lot easier when you got Mr. Adams and Mr. Walker in the backfield with you, and you can hand it to those two talented football players.
You're right. You're right. And like I said, no matter how good a team you got, no matter how good talent you have to have someone that can put it together for you. You got to have you got to have a field general.
Yes.
And that's what he was. Man, he showed
pretty good night for the offensive line too up front.
Oh yeah, most definitely. You got to have a good line for that. But yeah, he showed that he's very well capable of leading this team.
Gary, you shift gears, you go to Jennings. 2 touchdowns called back.
Yeah.
It was not the cleanest nights, with a lot of penalties for both sides.
Both sides, right.
So 2 costly penalties from being tied up in the fourth quarter.
Right. I
2
mean,
touchdowns called back.
We were this close to it, like you say, being deadlocked going into the fourth quarter. It was unbelievable. But, hey, you can have a great team, but if it's hard to survive 2 touchdowns called back, especially long touchdowns. You had a 99 yard
kickoff return.
Yeah, call back, for a penalty. And I mean, it's like, oh my God, that
takes the wind out of you.
It's just like a gut punch, man.
Yes. But then you go and you look at the back this year for Jennings, and Mr. Rajan Zeno, every bit of advertised. The kid's good, and I'm glad I finally got to see him play in person.
Well, I'm going to tell you, this right here, that loss, that's a loss for Jennings. But I'm going to tell you right now, that young man is a force. He is going to...
You're going to put him on the back.
He's going to be a force to be reckoned with. So look out. I think, Iowa won it. Jennings is a good team too.
Jennings is a good team moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to look forward to seeing what both of these teams do. Our UTL player of the game that night was Mr. Jonathan Walker, number 4.
Mm-hmm.
Coach calls him a Swiss Army knife, and I completely agree.
Right.
The man was taking snaps at running back in the wildcat position, playing defense on the special teams.
Right.
He didn't get off the field, and I tell you what, he earned that UTL player of the game honors.
I don't think he got off the field at all, did he?
I'm not sure.
I don't. I think he stayed on for the whole game. So that's amazing in itself.
And when we saw them last year, he had some impacts during the game, and we talked in pregame and said our impact players for the night. he was one of them, and he put on a show. And I can't wait to follow his senior year here for Iowa.
You're right. I agree with you 100%.
Last thing about that game, Iowa's defense. That's going to be something to see. They might have a good enough defense to win this district.
They may. I think that they're going to be a force to be reckoned with all the way. I honestly think they'll make the playoffs, and I think they'll make a good run.
Yes, indeed, my friend. First trip to 4A and starting out the season 1-0. Kinder
right.
and Welsh, my friend, just got done. Up the road in Welsh. We enjoyed our trip there. Great little small atmosphere with a 2A atmosphere where we saw a parade when we were coming in. We saw the Greyhound walk before the game coming down the street. So everything you would expect from a community that loves their football, because they packed out that stadium.
Right.
And you looked across the stadium, Kinder, boy, was they there too, my friend. Two teams, two rivals, two communities that love their programs.
Oh, most definitely. Nothing but thumbs up to Welsh for the love and the support that they've given us and allowed us to go in there and actually broadcast a game. Kinder, we've done them in the past, and they always show us love and everything like that. That was a great game. Up until right at the end, this was a tight nip and tuck game, and then all of a sudden they had some things that went wrong, and then look out.
Gary, a key injury early in the game. Number 17, the running back, went out for the Greyhounds. We didn't see him the rest of the way. It looked like a knee that they were working on the sideline. So Begno had to try to take the game into his hands the rest of the way. And I don't know what you want to call this defense for Kinder. An exotic look, a lot of different things going. Boy, do they love to send the house. And Gary, it's exciting to see that defense play football.
Oh, look, they were bringing it. I won't lie to you, dude. They were bringing it.
At some points, it reminded you of the Cecilia defensive line last year from the state championship game, where nobody was in 3-point stands or 4-point stand. Everybody was just crowded around the line of scrimmage, standing up. So it was interesting. It worked, and I can't wait to see it down the road in a couple of weeks.
You're right, and like I said, and that's not taking anything away from Welsh. Welsh had a good opportunity, but I think that injury kind of really hurt him. Even the quarterback got nicked up and had to come out for a while. One thing I did see in the game, and we've been seeing that all weekend, is cramping. There's a lot of cramping going on, guys. I'm gonna tell you, hydrate. You got to start hydrating, and you can't just drink before a game or during a game. You got to drink. You got to start drinking early in the morning and hydrate, so it'll stay in your body. That way you won't have as much cramping. But we saw that Kinder.
Both teams.
Kinder had it, but Welsh had it also. I mean, I think it was both teams. I mean, you'd see them make a great play and they'd stay on the ground, and they were cramping up. Yes. It was unbelievable. But great game.
Gary, you look at this game here. We're 18-6, coming off of a 9-point swing from the Greyhounds. All the momentum shifted in the stadium towards the Greyhound sideline. It was a 9-point swing, a touchdown and a safety, and then next thing you know, it was 18-16 midway through the third, and then 22 unanswered to close out the game for the Yellow Jackets. And Garrett, they played all three phases of the game today. They even downed a punt inside the 1-yard line in the final minute of the game. So they were making their extra points, Gary. They were punting. Their punts were on point today. So
and even the young players that came in at the end of the game, it wasn't that downing the ball in the one, and that was the young people that came in and they were doing that. That wasn't the regular special teams. You could tell he called off the dog. So. They played well, and it's a shame that one team has to lose, but Kinder came to play.
Yeah. Last thing on the game, real quick, my friend. Welsh still a good team moving forward.
Oh, most
They're going to win a lot of games and make a push in Division 4.
Most definitely.
Kinder, they got a lot of weapons on the offensive side of the ball. Think about this, Gary. The quarterback looked really good today throwing the football. He's got a couple targets out there, number 17, number 13, that got some nice hands and could be big-time players in the pass game. How about Mr. Rice come in and make a Sports Center top 10 play on the two-point conversion?
You're right.
Logan LaBeouf is a bull. He was our UTL player of the game. He does all the dirty work, gives you the tough yards, and he broke off a big one today.
Right.
And then number 40, Roberts, had a monster game. Hopefully I'm not leaving anyone out, but all-around team win.
That was one of the best team wins that had. It was like, okay, I did mine, you do yours, and there was a multitude of people that you can say stepped up and really did what they had to do. So great job. It was great to call it. As you can tell, we're all sunburned and everything, or windburned from
11 a.m. kickoff. You gotta love it.
It was awesome on a Saturday. Nothing like it.
Let's see. Let's go to Friday real quick. How about Holly's Lock of the Week? 1-0 in the season. She says she had to get back in the rhythm, get her feet wet, and make sure she gets a dub on week 1. Why not turn to the new era at Mamu? Coach Lamb getting his first win as the head football coach of the Mamu Green Demons. 58-0 Lock of the Week hits over Bolton. That has to feel really good for that program. That's got to feel really good for that community, knowing they got the right man for the job.
Most definitely, Jordy. They've been waiting for a chance to get back into the Mamu of old, I guess you would say, and I think they got a good start.
Here's the Troy, my man.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep picking against y'all so y'all can keep winning.
That's right.
And he's gonna tell us. He's gonna tell us, don't ever pick us again.
That's right. And I'm gonna tell you straight up, Bolton, man, they're completely rebuilding. They're starting from scratch, and it's a shame. But I think they're they have a shot. They have such a big group of people, athletes and stuff in that area. Hopefully they'll be able to, get things back to the winning ways of Bolton.
Mamu, big game next week. I believe they have Basile.
I think so.
Westminster Pine Prairie. Moving in the right direction. New coaching staff. All you got to do is start believing.
Right.
And then you'll let it play out as the year goes on.
Right.
But Gary, Westminster under year 2 of the Byron Porter era, he gets his crew off to a great start. 34-0 win over Pine Prairie. Now we find out how good this Crusader football team is, because next week they hit the road and they're gonna go try to tackle down Harlan Berry at St. Martin's Episcopal. LSU commit Harlan Berry.
Right. That's going to be a hard job for them, but we'll see how good a team they are at that time.
Absolutely, my friend.
Right.
Go ahead.
Pine Prairie. One of my former students, good friend Mikey, is over there now, and I just want to just tell everybody. I said, if y'all work together and listen to this staff, I think y'all have a bright future, because you have a good coaching staff coming up in there. All you got to do is get the students and the community to believe in them.
And I believe they will.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's not going to happen overnight.
No, this is something that they're going to have to learn.
My favorite to win the district when we did the prediction show 2 weeks ago was Oberlin.
Correct.
And they get upset in week 1 by Vinton. Big win for Vinton, 22-14 on the road.
Right, and you consider last year.
It's still rolling.
It's still rolling. Yeah.
Here we go. I think we're back. Do your mic checks. Make sure we're good, Gary.
Hello. Can everybody hear me?
How's your phone?
Well, she's probably on the Wi-Fi too, unless you want to do a.
Yeah. You're off the Wi-Fi now.
We can use one of the hotspots or whatever.
We're back. Okay. So Gary, It's Saturday and the internet.
The internet's not cooperating.
The internet doesn't work on the weekends, my friend.
Right.
Only on Wednesday nights.
That's right.
Finish your statement.
Well, it's amazing because Oberlin, we thought Oberlin was going to be so good, and Vinton, they struggled a lot last year. They weren't as good as they wanted to be last year, and we had some doubts about them. Well, they proved us wrong. They said, hey, we're going to come out and win, and they did.
Let's go Rain and Beauchamp. Saw Rain for the Jamboree, and it was two guys that really stood out to me, that impressed me that night. It was number 6 Wheeler and 22 at the quarterback position. So if those two guys stay healthy, Rain will have a lot of success this season, unless they didn't show much in the Jamboree and those guys really opened it up against Beauchamp. 46-0 winners for the Wolves. Gary, do we have to start keeping our eyes out on the Wolves here moving forward?
Rain's going to be tough. I think
two dynamic players in that offense.
I think look out. You give them a shot, they're going to take it. And yes, I'm going to keep my eye on the Rain Wolves.
Okay. Let's see. Ville Platte and Northside tangled on Friday, and Northside gets the better here. Coach Carter's group gets a 38-14 win at home. Northside is going into another year with Coach, and guess what, Gary? They've improved. They've bought in. They're ready for this season.
Yes, and you know what? Ville Platte came in, had a lot of. Ville Platte always has a lot of good athletes, and but this Northside has a mission, and they want to be one of Lafayette's strong teams. I mean, look at all the other teams around Lafayette. They got some great ones in there, and they want to be up there with everybody. So,
and they are definitely on the right track.
Yes.
And this, you couldn't have started off any better.
Correct.
And they got a good one next week.
Yes.
With Sulphur.
Right. Yes. So hey, look out.
We'll know a lot more next week about this Northside team when they go battle the Tours.
Yeah. Well, like we talked about earlier, I said by week 3 we'll have an idea which team is going up, which team is going down, and which team's about the same. So we'll have a lot of things to see.
Let me take this off and we'll put this right here.
Okay.
Garrett, next game, Washington Marion sends shockwaves across the state and knock off Abbeville 20-7. Big win for that program. Abbeville shocked at home, my friend. Are you shocked with that outcome, that score there?
I was. I thought Abbeville was going to be a little bit stronger, even though they have a new coaching staff there. I gave them the edge, and I thought they were going to be a little stronger, but Washington Marion went out and proved us wrong.
Okay. Como South Terrebonne, not your traditional score here. 24-5, South Terrebonne beats Como.
Correct.
Safety and a field goal. There we go. We got an update.
Yeah.
It was wet and muddy in Abbeville last night. So we said across the state of Louisiana, bad weather and fields that are muddy could play a factor into a lot of teams. So we can't judge a lot of teams until we see them on dry fields.
Correct. Yeah, and it's, it's like we said, a bad field will make a bad team look really good, and it'll make a good team look really bad. It can do everything.
And then the next week,
it's flipped.
You flip it.
Right.
Yeah. But you can't take nothing away from Washington Marion.
Nope.
They came in, Gary. Both teams played in the same elements.
Right.
Just like Opelousas Catholic Iota.
Right.
East Bow and Grand Lake. So both teams had to play in it. One team came out with the win. So
yes, sir.
Congratulations to them. Highly expect Abbeville to bounce back real soon, though.
Most definitely. I don't see them to stay down very long.
South Bow gets a big home opener win over DeRidder, 26-12. Great win for South Bow.
Right. We weren't. This is one game that I really wasn't sure how DeRidder or South Bow were this year because of, we just didn't know too much about them. And, I think South Bow just kind of put it together, and DeRidder, DeRidder just, I hate to say this, they lost. They just got hit.
And we don't know what the field conditions were like over there. But, Gary?
Hey, we both got to pay them,
Yes, so DeRidder was a team that I thought could give Iowa a run for that district title, and a big loss in week 1. We'll see how they do moving forward.
Right.
What else we got, Gary? Lakeshore Downs Fontainebleau 34-14. So Holden's Alma Falls.
Yeah.
Shout out to Coach Indes. Shout out to Coach Brody at Lakeshore.
Yeah.
Great win, guys. Way to start the season off the right way.
Holden was said last night. He says, "I'm gonna get tore up," and I said, "Yeah, you probably will." So he's expecting a lot of smack.
A lot of smack next Wednesday. Red River and Catholic of Point Capee. This one was a 26-6 win for Coach Cruz. Seems like he's got his team playing their best football here early. But we'll see moving forward once we get into district play how hot this team will be playing.
Yeah, that's going to be the $1 million question. How will they continue playing? Yeah, will it be consistent? Will it be ups and downs? Each year is different, but I like this Catholic of Point Capee team.
I agree.
I do.
St. Ed's and Elton met at Elton last night. Blue Jays, this one was tight for a while, and then got reports said 3 straight fumbles, and Scoop and Scores really flipped this game on the head. Blue Jays get a win in week 1, 42-15. Long road trip for the Blue Jays next week. Gonna see what both teams do moving forward. But it's the Blue Jays starting out the season 1-0.
And Elton. I mean, nothing against Elton, because I think those turnovers really cost them. But turnovers in a game cost everybody. Mm-hmm. And I think they're going to bounce back, and I think they're going to be ready for their next game.
Tell you who's pretty good this year, Gary. It's Lake Arthur.
Right.
Lake Arthur went into Basile, got a big win, 34-12. I'm not sure about the injury that occurred, so I'm waiting to hear reports on his timeline of his return. But when they're at full health and they're a complete group, Gary, this team's going to be hard to beat.
Lake Arthur's they're peaking. They got a lot of good leadership on that team right now. So, like I said, we'll wait on the injury report, see what happens with that, and hopefully we'll be able to, see them move forward in a positive way. Because, like I said, we don't like it whenever we have injuries.
Yes, sir, my friend. Crawley gets a big win on the road, 20-6 over Port Barry. Sloppy conditions. Both teams got to play in it. And the Gents get a win on the road. So congratulations to Crawley. Starting off the season with a big win after a season that you did not want to have last year. They wanted to move on from last year, and this is a pretty good way to start it.
Good way to start it off. Our alma mater went down, but we were talking to one of the coaches yesterday. He said, fumbles. Both teams were accident prone and stuff like that, as far as not being able to hold on to the ball. Port Barry had a couple of opportunities, but
a couple key guys out too.
Yeah, a couple key guys out. So I mean, it's just a matter of trying to survive all of that. But congratulations to Crowley. Great victory for them.
Yeah, great victory. What a win like that could do for our program under a new head football coach.
Right, like you said, brand new coach, brand new everything. So look forward to seeing what they do forward, and hopefully Port Barry can come back, next time and just actually, get a win.
Yes, week 2 brewing for both teams, and we'll see if the Red Devils can get a win next week. But we shift gears here, Gary, and Kaplan and Ascension Episcopal played on Friday. I did not see this score happening, but
Right.
Ascension Episcopal must have something this season that no one's talking about. 23-6, a victory over the Pirates. We were high on the Pirates
Right.
after last week's Jamboree, but we have to
Man.
start cooling it off on
Right.
Jamborees and just let week ones play themselves out.
Well, Ascension Episcopal is always a good team. You know, they have a good, solid foundation and stuff like that. But Kaplan has a lot of tradition too. But it just, man, Ascension Episcopal just came ready to play.
And you talk about them statement wins later on down the road.
You're
That
right.
might be in discussion
Yep.
for one of them.
Mhm.
Nish starting the season off the correct way. 34-25 winners over Pineville. This one, a lot of people wanted to see, can Nish go into this year and get things going in their non-district schedule, because they have a favorable non-district schedule where they can win some games before they get to that gauntlet district. And
Correct.
check number one on the boxes of non-district play.
Right. Hey, Nish had a lot of question marks, though. We weren't sure exactly how strong they would be. And I think they basically said, hey, we're here. And they wanted to show it off. And, you know, they put it on Pineville. They had a good plan. And, you know.
Good 11-point win, yeah. Good 9-point win,
Yeah.
correction.
Yeah.
Natchitoches Central, another new head football coach, picking up his first win of his career at Natchitoches Central. Went down the Bro Bridge, probably played in some wet conditions.
Oh, God, yes.
14-12, so the offenses didn't have much going on, but looked like it was a good defensive game here.
Right. Anytime you're playing in the conditions that it was the last 3 days, you know, you figure points are going to be at a minimal. So to come in and do what they had to do, and like I said, they 14 points, so that's 2 touchdowns and extra points. And then whenever you lose, whenever you don't have the extra points or the special teams, that's whenever it comes out, and that's usually whenever you see a score like that. But man, congratulations, new coaching staff, new philosophy. It looks like they might be buying in.
Yes, indeed. You know who's bought in? This
Oh
next
yeah,
team.
you're right.
Bunkie at Northwestern State gets a huge win over St. Mary's, 39-6. Gary, I think I was the only one on Wednesday night that said this one was going to be a running way.
Right.
I think I said on Wednesday night, I said this one will not even be close, because I have that much confidence in this year's Bunkie's team.
Bunkie is, you know, first of all, I've always been a fan of Bunkie. You know, even when we had to play him, I guess you could say that you have someone that's a rival that you kind of don't like, but you like, if you can understand what I mean. Bunkie has always been a strong ball club in my eyes. They went through a little lull, but man, the last couple of years they have been on fire. So look out, Bunkie.
Year 2, Coach Hillman,
Yes.
he's got them hitting on all cylinders, and they're very dangerous. They're going to be someone you don't want to line up across week in and week out.
Great place to go watch a football game too.
Absolutely. Great atmosphere. How about Marksville and Avoyelles? Just met a week ago, Gary, at the Jamboree. You got to turn around and play them again, and
That surprises the heck out of me. I've never seen that, the way you play a jamboree and then play in a regular season. But
don't happen often.
you know, man, Marksville is
Marksville is one of those teams that most are sleeping on,
Right.
but eyebrows are slowly starting to creep up.
correct.
Year 2 for Coach Harper.
Right.
He's got those guys believing, and he's going to do tremendous work over there in Marksville, and he's going to upset a lot of people along the way this year.
I think so. Don't take them lightly, because you might be disappointed.
30-16 victory there. Avoyelles, we look at them, Gary, and they're not a bad football team.
Oh, no.
Young group, graduated some key pieces last year, but with that unconditional offense they run,
Right.
it's going to give teams fits another year.
They are punting this year, though.
Yes.
Remember that.
Yes, we are
Yeah.
keeping a close eye out on our friends out there in Marksville. Avoyles moving forward,
Yes.
and we wish them best of luck this upcoming season.
Correct.
Oakdale and Sacred Heart. How about a debut for head football coach over there at Oakdale in year 2 for head football coach over there at Sacred Heart?
Right.
Terrible field conditions, we were told.
Right.
And when it's terrible field conditions, Gary, you run the rock.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got an A bear in the backfield
You're
that
right.
that can really change a game in the blink of an eye. I don't know. I don't have the reports here. I don't know if it's defensive scores. I don't know if it was special teams. But a 14-0 shutout, that means the
Right.
defense came to play. And
Right.
I'm sure 23 had something
Oh.
to say about it on offense.
I'm sure.
Well, we'll have to get an outlook on. We'll have to get an outlook from Coach over there at Sacred Heart. But two teams that are going to be really dangerous moving forward. Sacred Heart, I see the belief
Right.
over there. We saw it at the
Yeah.
the Jamboree.
Jamboree
They went
was-
toe to toe with Iota, and they come in week 1 and shut out Oakdale. I'm a believer,
Yeah, I am too. Most definitely.
and I would like to see Oakdale on a dry field moving
You're
forward.
right. I really would like
What,
to see that.
what can we expect moving forward for them? Franklin and Lafayette. Lafayette, big win at home, 34-14. The Lions
Right.
start the season off the right way. As we're talking now, Notre Dame Fighting Irish just got upset by the Northern Illinois in college football.
Oh, really? Wow.
Take them out the college playoff.
You're right.
Gary, St. Louis played Sulphur on Friday night, and the Tours get the better of St. Louis 14-3. I'm very concerned right now with this St. Louis football team.
Right.
Big senior class leaves. Brand new head football coach is taking them longer than expected to find themselves here in
Right.
2024.
Well, when you have such a big senior class that exits, and I hate to say that, but they graduate, you're going to have some growing pains.
Yes.
And they played a good Sulphur team, and just unfortunately got beat.
Year 2 for coach over
Yeah.
there at Sulphur.
Yeah.
And highly expect him to do some tremendous things, make huge strides here in
Correct.
year 2. And
Correct.
it's always great to start the season out 1-0.
Right.
Airline and Barb, how about a shootout for the ages, my friend? We were on the way home, and we sat down at the table, and it's like, they're still playing?
They're still playing. They're still playing.
They're
man.
tied up right now?
Wow.
They're still playing? What the heck is going on over there at Barb? Gary, we almost could have left Northwest, drove to Lake Charles, and
watched the end of the game.
watched the end of the game because this one ended late last night.
Yes, it did.
Because of how much offense was displayed. And when you got Ben Taylor on Airline doing what he does, but we talked about the defense is the question mark.
Right.
Barb lit it up too.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You had two teams that really just lit up the scoreboard. I mean, and on in conditions that was not very good. So can you imagine if they had these two teams on a dry field? Oh my God, they might have broke the scoreboard on both sides. Unbelievable.
And we're that close. We're that close from playing bonus football. It's
Correct.
only a 3-point win there.
Right.
But that one very well could have went a couple overtimes.
Most definitely. Most definitely.
Final score, Airline 52-49 win. Woo! You're going to have to outscore Airline
Right.
this year. They're
Yeah.
not playing much defense, but they're going to put up 50 a game.
When you see a team like Airline that basically they're an offensive juggernaut. Unbelievable.
And they know their identity.
Yes, they do.
Come score with us.
Pretty much.
Let's see what else we got here. Okay, Bird
Yes.
makes the long road trip, Gary, and goes and shocks last year's 5 seed going into the playoffs.
Right.
And with huge expectations this year, Santa Ma is upsetting week 1 at home. Did
Yeah.
not see that coming, but I'm sure Mr. Charlie had a tremendous call for the Bird Radio. I
Right.
would love to hear his input on this game. Congratulations, Bird. That's a big win.
Yeah, that is a big word for Bird High School. Anytime you play Santa Maria has such good tradition, and I'll be honest with you, I've seen them when they were not so good beat people. So I mean, I'm excited to see, Bird actually do something like that. That was the big upset. Like you said, this might be the statement win of the night. Because I mean, not everybody saw that at all. I know I didn't.
Yeah, but we don't know what's in their locker room.
Right.
So, big win for Bird. We'll see if
next week we'll determine.
We'll see if San Omar can bounce back next
Right.
week. It does not get easier,
You're right.
Gary, because next week those guys got Cecilia.
Oh, that's gonna be tough.
So we'll see. Next week's gonna be fun though.
Yeah.
Tioga and Sterlington, 28-13 win here for Sterlington. So after the first 2 weeks, they get some learning from those two tough opponents. They come back here, handle business at home.
Correct.
Don't sleep on Sterlington.
Sterlington's always, for the last few years, have been always someone to contend with. So good job to them.
Cecilia and St. Martinville battled. Some people told me this was going to be a close ball game, and I called them some fools.
Yeah.
Because when you got Diesel Solari at the
Yeah.
quarterback position, he's going to take this team to tremendous heights, and you never know.
Well,
you never know. They might go finish the deal this
Well,
year.
you got the state runner-ups from last year. I mean, and they're going to, be strong. But like you said, when they got the Diesel in the backfield, look out, buddy.
40-8 final. I expect this offense could break records this year.
I think so too. It's going to be interesting.
Logansport and Manny. Fireworks were on display, but the fireworks were on the other sideline.
Yes.
Whenever Logansport really lit up the scoreboard
Correct.
and had their own statement of, "Don't forget about us in
Right.
Division 4."
Correct. Manny's going to be rebuilding this year, and I mean, as dominant as Manny has been over the last few years, this may be kind of hard for them to accept. But let me tell you something. Everybody goes through it. But Logansport, I gotta say you this: Logansport is
Contender.
a contender from day one. So look out, Logansport. Congratulations. Just keep working, Manny. You're gonna get there.
So Logansport, big win on the road. This was supposed to be a home game, so when that stadium is complete, man, I can't wait to get down there and see it. New Jumbotron, new bleachers, new
right.
press box, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
They do it big in
Yeah.
Logansport.
Yes, I'm ready to see that myself. It's going to be amazing.
This next game, Gina and Mangum lived up to the hype
Right.
that was surrounding it, and I'm kind of jealous I didn't see it in person.
Right.
Because when you got two teams that are good football programs, well coached, well balanced across the board, it's just a good old fight in the trenches
Right.
between these two. And Gary, it lived up to the hype. 26-22 victory for the Gina Giants.
Right. And let me tell you something, man. Gina's, I don't know, the last few years Gina has been something. They've been putting forth what it takes to be successful. And I mean, they were that close to making it to the Dome.
Yes.
And
we had so many question marks. We were told all off season they graduated too much. They're going to be down. Gary, I don't think so, my friend. I saw the Jamboree. I saw week 1. They are ready to make another run at this.
They basically, yes, they graduated some, but how they, work with their young players and how they get them involved. Gina is up. They were up last year. I mean, that close to going to the Dome. This year, they can very well make another run. And
and they're proving it here early.
Yeah, they're really dominating right now.
Parkview Baptist and Dunham. Hello, quarterback from Dunham, just lighting things up. Who saw a blowout shutout coming? Not us, and
Not for this game.
I'm sure not the state of Louisiana. 46-0 Dunham with a statement right there.
Right on, Pecan. I mean, I didn't see that coming. I thought I did pick Dunham, but I did not see this score.
Gary, when we did our prediction show, we said Calvary Baptist, LCA, book it.
Right.
I ain't ready to book anything right now
Nope.
because Dunham is ready to roll.
You're right. It's going to be interesting. Interesting.
Leesville and Sam Houston. I got an interesting stat here from Mr. Chaston that called the game. How about this? Both running backs, both had 300 yards rushing and 6 touchdowns each.
All I can say is wow.
I was
That's a
with
big wow. Or
6 touchdowns each.
man.
And both of them went over 300 yards. So if something like that happens, you're expecting a huge score here, right?
Right.
Sam Houston, 56. Leesville, 41. Hello, somebody watching at home. If you like offenses, the place to be the other night was there.
Right. Yeah, let me tell you something. That when you have a game like that just makes it makes it so exciting because
Makes your hair stand up, man.
You can't take your eyes off of anything because you might miss something.
And
I mean, it's just back and forth.
And I'm sure Chaston slept good that night because if you like broadcasting football games, they kept you busy that night.
Oh, most definitely. That was
That sounds like
unbelievable.
a 3-hour, 4-hour type of ball game there.
You're right, exactly.
Woo, that sounds like a late night. Gary, Alexandria and West Feliciana, 44-7. Alexandria rolls, and they rolled last week for the Jamboree, and they played Acadiana extremely tough. Stop sleeping on Alexandria.
No.
They are major contenders moving forward.
Alexandria is they're getting their feet wet from last year. They got their feet wet this year.
Quarterfinal appearance last year.
They're
JT Lindsey's running wild.
right. They're looking to make a bigger push and hopefully get to the dome. That's what they're shooting for this year.
And next week, I think they got a big one next week. Let me look on this paper. Ooh, I don't have it wrote down, but somebody let us know who they got in the chat next week. But Alexandria, yep, we're going to get a helmet one day, and yep, you were very well could be right back in the quarters again and could go further.
Most definitely.
Lake Charles College Prep Westgate did not know how this one was gonna play out, but 31-29, closer than when most start. Westgate escapes at home with a 31-29 win. Lake Charles College Prep came to play.
Yeah, that just means Westgate's good, but so is Prep. Lake Charles College Prep they've been consistently good for the last few years.
Well, you knew they would respond
right
after that loss last week in the Jamboree
Correct.
to LCA. So you knew they would respond this week, but I don't think a lot of them seen it this close.
Right. I thought I thought Westgate was going to win, but man, this could have went either way.
And if there was bad weather in the area, could slow down both of these teams.
Correct.
But 31-29, it don't seem like much will slow down.
No, it means that the elements were.
There it is.
Oh boy, Alexandria plays Union.
Yes, sir.
That's going to be a game. But no, the weather conditions do affect both teams, and like I said, with the score the way it was, it didn't really affect them that much. It just one team has to win.
Vermilion Catholic down by 10, rallies behind Mr. Dortez. He's been doing it his entire career. Why did I think anything less? As long as he's healthy, man, does Vermilion Catholic have a shot to get to the dome.
You're right.
14-10 victory over Catholic at New Iberia. The Screaming Eagles ring the bell I'm sure they rang the bell when they got back to the school. So, hashtag ring the bell, VC, big win, and week 1.
You're right.
How about St. James and East St. John? We heard all off season we graduated too much. We're too young. We're not going to be back to where we was last year. Boy, was that some smoke talk there. And my friend, St. James, 20-0 victory on the road at East St. John. Well, I ain't picking against you moving forward. Unless Troy tells me he needs me to.
Yeah, but
because
I'm going to tell you.
That's an important win for this program.
Right.
If they did graduate that much.
Right.
Going into this season knowing, hey, we had a good group coming back.
Correct. Unbelievable. Congratulations to St. James. Very impressive.
They are young, so a young group stepping up here in week 1, going on the road and shutting out East St. John. Hey, I'm excited to see it, and that gives me something to move on for next couple weeks.
Correct.
Brother Martin and East Ascension battle. Coach Brock Mathern's first game as the head coach. Welcome in a powerhouse program in Brother Martin. Extremely well coached. Gary, Brother Martin, 23-14. East Ascension making strides to get to the program they want to be in. Watch out from a year now when these two meet again.
Oh, most definitely. East Ascension is young, and they're trying to get to
establish
the
culture.
Right, but Brother Martin has already got that, so that's basically what the difference was this game.
Kind of expected, but closer where they're starting to turn over a page.
Right, they're actually starting to make the turn, and hey, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with the rest of the season.
Absolutely. If I was a betting man, I said watch out for East Ascension making a playoff.
Right. Most definitely.
Dutchtown, Madison Prep, slow start for the Griffins, but turned it on late, 31-6 victory over Madison Prep. They got something brewing over there, and coming off of a semifinal appearance, I highly expect them to get right back.
Look out, Dutchtown. That's all I can say.
Notre Dame and Southside played in an instant classic on Friday night. Pios escape at home, 21-20. What a game. What a win. And, Gary, Pios have a team that could be on a destiny here.
You're right. I mean, Notre Dame has been so close so many times. And, I think
St. Charles, their Achilles heel, they're finally gone.
Yeah, and I think that this may be the year that they have a chance to put it all together.
So many seniors, so many veterans back.
Right.
And this is a good step in the right direction.
Yeah, this game right here, really showed me that they're striving to get there and take it all. So look out. If you play in Notre Dame, you better be careful. But then again, watch out because Southside's still tough.
Yeah, once Coach Curtis gets his program how he wants it to be, Sharks are going to be a contender year in and year out.
You right on that.
St. Charles and Newman battled on Friday. St. Charles, big senior class departs. How would they be coming into this year? Question mark number 1 is answered on week 1.
Right.
They lost to a really good Newman team. It looks like 24-10. Will the Comets make another run to the title game, or are they a year or two away from getting back to those championship games?
Well, we're not sure on that because anything can happen. They played at Newman, and even though Newman has turf and it's still wet. It's still all that.
Not sure how much rain we got in New Orleans, but
that was a good bit from what I heard.
Okay.
But that's still being said. Newman had to play in it too, and like you said, I think St. Charles is going to constantly get better as the season goes on.
Yeah, they're well coached team.
I think that they're like you said, they're just young. Wait till it starts to gel. It's going to be amazing.
Comets not going back this year. Yeah, I think they took too much big of a hit.
Right, with the graduation, most definitely. But I think they're going to slowly keep getting better.
Yes. What else we got here, Mr. Gary? Turlings and Opelousas played on Friday, and these teams had some battles the last few years in the opening game of the season. And Turlings has had the better of them every single year. And when this game got moved to Turling's last minute, because the field was not playable, you had to think the momentum switched it right back to the Rebel sideline. And Turlings went out, handled their business, and knocked off the defending state champs. What a win for the Rebels.
But the thing about it is, OHS had the lead.
Yes,
OHS had a 14-7 lead, and they Turlings came back and won, tied it up, and then went ahead. Not sure what's what on that, but I know they did play at Turlings, which is a turf field. So I mean, we just have to see, and I'm sure we're gonna hear from Chris and from all the other OHS fans that we have in our chat. We're gonna find out what happened and everything like that. But this is a good football team, as in Turlings. Turlings is a good football team. OHS, I think, is a great football team. I mean, scheduling the teams that they're going to be playing this year, man, they have a tough feel ahead. But that's
it don't get easier for both teams next week. Turlings got Sam Houston next week, and they just put up 50-something points.
Right.
And then you got OHS welcoming in Edna Carr next week. I'm not sure where that game will be played. It depends if the field's ready to go. But does not get easier.
No, when you're looking at the games that they're going to be playing, especially this week here, when you see Coach Zachary scheduling Edna Carr with the tradition that Edna Carr has, man, he's not afraid to say, hey, let's play.
Hey, he believes in his group.
And
he
you know
believes in
what?
his locker room.
I think that's great. And I think Edna Carr and OHS next week is going to be awesome. But as far as this week,
hopefully it's at Donald Gardner, but I'm not sure about the field.
I'll be honest with you, the fields, man. If you saw you saw the pictures, unbelievable how bad that field is. So, Turlings was a better team this week on the turf than OHS, but man, going forward, there's no telling what's going to happen.
Yeah, and Turlings, the size they have up front, looks like it could have been a big impact here. 21-14 victory for the Rebels. Gary, Rebels might be able to get over the hump this year, but it does not help moving into Division I.
They may. Oh yeah, they may. But
could be a favorite in district play.
District
and STM could battle it out for the title. Westgate could battle it out. I'm very excited to see that three-man race there.
Oh, it's going to be interesting, but like they say, to beat a man, you got to beat the man. And until anybody says anything, STM is still the leader.
There you go. Gary, Holy Cross, Edie White. Edie White, great defense, great program, great coaching staff. They welcome in Holy Cross, which was the number 1 seed going into the playoffs a year ago.
Correct.
Beat them 27-14. Great win for Edie White. Yeah. Get ready. They're going to fall in the top 10 next week for U2L.
Edie White is always in the hunt. I mean,
great defense, year in and year out.
Yeah, they've always had their team has just always been in the hunt, and I gotta say, congratulations, great victory for Edie White.
Yes, another great victory on the way. North Dakota handles business at home against Union Parish. I guess the story of today's show could be state champions fall in week 1.
Correct. Correct, and. All of these state champions that we've had, they've lost something. They've lost seniors. They lost all that. But, how do they respond? That's the key. How are they going to respond after this loss?
I see 3 go down in week 1. I see Oak Grove. I see OHS. I see Union Parish. Any other ones I'm forgetting?
No. The other ones I think won.
So 3 fall in week 1, so it could be a storyline if we got some writers out there. But Union Parish. I was told one time, when it comes to Union Parish, they're not worried about the regular season. They just want to get into the playoffs.
Correct.
Make sure they get in, they get their seed, and then they start to roll. They don't start playing their best football until they get into the playoffs.
Right.
So a week 1 game right here, Coach Pat's going to have his team ready to go moving forward from weeks 2 to
Right.
10. So I'm not worried about Union Parish.
Oh no, I think they're going to bounce back. But this was a good game. That's all I can say. It was a good
And
game.
North Dakota, that high-powered offense, looks like they primed for another big season here. We could see them right back in the dome.
Yeah, sure could. Sure could. It's going to be very interesting going forward.
Edna Corps and Shaw met on Friday. Well, Edna Corps, you're starting to prove to people around the state of Louisiana that 4 years too long of an exit from playing for a state championship could come to an end this year. Gary, we haven't seen them in the dome since play for a title since 2020 because they played Natchitoches in 2020, but have not seen them play for a title. Could very well find their way there this year because they seem loaded.
They seem like they are ready to just go and dominate.
48-21, yes.
Yes.
LCA Rummel. That game was actually moved to the Superdome, man.
Right.
How about a last minute, hey, coach, would you want to go play in the Superdome because of the weather? Hey, who wouldn't take
Yeah.
that?
It'd be like going, duh.
But Rummel, coming off of a semifinal appearance last year, 42-35, expected to win here, but the question was earned, how much drop-off would LCA have? Not much at all.
Not much at all.
You lose by 7 on the road to a really, really good Rummel team. LCA, underline and put dash and put contender.
Right.
Again.
Exactly. I don't think that, we always talk about this. Okay, each year, what did they lose? What did they lose? They keep reloading. And I think it's, they've had, STM has had their number for the last few years. But I think LCA is still as good as they have been. And, they're getting better every week. So it's going to be something. I think it's going to be great.
Troy said more rain next week.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
That ain't good.
Yeah.
That means we have to set up another tent.
Yeah.
All right, Gary, let's go.
I want to
Here.
get one where we can press a button and it does it itself.
Yes. Catholic of Baton Rouge and Destrehan. Boy, was that a thriller. Catholic of Baton
Wow.
Rouge scores in the final minute to take the lead. They get the 2-point conversion and they get the ball on the kickoff. Catholic of Baton Rouge goes on the road, stuns Destrehan 23-20. What a ball game. You got to love seeing this matchup
Right.
here in week 1. We need more week
More
1
like
matchups
this,
in the coming years with matchups like this.
Well, you're dealing with a defending state champion.
Don't look back there.
Yeah, I don't know where you put it.
Oh, I thought you was talking about Destrehan. I was like,
Oh no,
we
we
don't
don't have that one yet. But Catholic, Catholic of Baton Rouge is always powerful. Destrehan, and we're still working on a helmet for them. But Destrehan has always, for the last few years, has been contenders.
But think about this.
and champions.
They had so many question marks coming out of the scrimmage and Jamboree. It's
Right.
like, is Destrehan down? What's going on? Is it? And then we had these questions, and then here they go battling the state champs from a year ago. Had them on the ropes and fall in the very end.
Very end, yeah. But the thing about it is Destrehan, and I've heard this, that they're not going to show you everything. They're going to train and teach their kids how to play, and they're going to use the spring, the the jamborees and all that. They're going to use that to teach their kids how to play football. And you know what? It showed. They taught their kids how to play football, but just Catholic of Baton Rouge showed they're the defending state champions for a reason, and they're going to be good this year too.
They showed how to close whenever the game was on the line.
Correct.
In Catholic of Baton Rouge, I would almost say we could see them again back in the dome if they stay healthy.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely. You're right.
But it's a gauntlet to get there, and it's not easy in Division One. So I'm not putting my chips into anybody's hats right now.
No, we're gonna start talking about that later on. Not right now. This is way too early.
But this Destrehan game here really makes me sleep a little bit easier knowing that, okay, I have an idea of what to expect from them.
Oh, yes, most definitely. Most definitely.
Neville and Evangel met on the gridiron. They said, is the E back, ladies and gentlemen? They had a chance to prove it on Friday night. Home game against the premier powerhouse and Neville and Gary. I don't know how to say this, but I'm going to try to sum it up as best I can. They say, is the E back? I say Neville never left.
Right. Oh, and I agree with you. Neville is still one of the strongest programs in North Louisiana. And Evangel, even though they lost this game, Evangel is setting the pace and the course for them to let everybody know, hey, we're coming back. We're not there 100% yet, but guess what? We're on the verge. So just because they lost this game doesn't mean I'm not scared of them.
Yeah, could give some teams some trouble moving
Yes.
forward, but Neville,
Neville.
back-to-back weeks have
Oh,
proved
yes.
that that early exit in the playoffs last year has completely fueled this offseason.
Mm-hmm.
And Neville, under new coaching staff over there, has really got these guys with Poetry Street on their minds. And
Right.
when you go out the last couple weeks and prove it on the football field, because you could talk about it, but you got to back it up and prove it. And I'm really buying into this Neville program going into the season.
I agree with you. And like I said, I can't wait. And I hope that we're able to see them in the Dome because they have been working so hard. And we've been talking to the broadcast team up there for so long. I would love to see them over there.
Well, I asked them, I said, when you come on down next week to play at Southside, let's grab some something to eat at the Crawfish House. So
Yeah, we can do
we're
that.
gonna try and see if he has time. But when you got an expensive setup as they do,
Yeah.
that takes a couple hours.
Oh, most definitely. It takes a while. But, man, let me tell you something. Evangel's getting back, but like you said, Neville never left. They've always been consistent and powerful. So, look out.
Yes, sir. Oak Grove, another state champion the fall in a state champion versus state champion week 1 matchup. Calvary Baptist, Oak Grove. How would Calvary Baptist respond from the Jamboree loss at home? Well, they went bonkers, and Mr. James Simon and Mr. Abram at the quarterback position, hello 62 big ones.
Right, exactly.
But the game really flipped on its head. Crucial moment in that game that happened. I was told about it. I didn't get the full details. A touchdown pass might have been dropped, a wide open touchdown pass. I don't have those details for you, but I will find out for Wednesday's show. 62-41, what was a game back and forth,
Right.
really separated at
Right.
the end. And Calvary Baptist, okay, yes, you're a contender to go repeat.
Oh, most definitely. I knew that, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I would have loved to have seen this game on a dry field. I would have loved to have seen that on a dry field with the two teams that we got. They are powerhouses. They're fast. Look out.
Great quarterbacks for both programs. Two teams that very well could get back and try to defend their titles. So looking forward to seeing Oak Grove Calvary Baptist moving forward, and they're gonna be great programs with probably, I would say, semifinal or better.
Oh, at least.
For
At
both.
least, yes, most definitely.
St. Thomas More, Karen Crow. Boy, was this a tale of two halves here.
You're right.
STM jumped up 21-0. It looked like it could have been a runaway over there on the brand new turf at Karen Crow. But hats off to Coach Peters, Karen Crow Bear football team. They never quit. They never stopped playing. And that's why you play 4 quarters of football. They got it down, scored in the final 20 seconds. Gary, it was 21-20. Coach said, let's go for the win. Let's go for 2. And St. Thomas More gets the big stop and survives a comeback for the ages and a 1-point victory. 21-20 final. STM takes down Karen Crow.
Right.
Boy, is this going to be two teams that are two teams that are gonna have great seasons.
Right. You looking at two, especially in this area, in the Acadiana area, Carencro, very, very exciting ball club and school. STM, tradition, looking for another state championship run this year.
Playing up,
and you always say, to be the champ, you got to beat the champ. Well, right now, St. Thomas More is on a mission to prove to everybody that even if they play up, they can go after it.
We could see this game again in the playoffs.
Correct, most definitely.
Or even at the state championship.
That would be awesome.
I'm not ready to throw no bets on that, but
No.
it's a possibility
It's
being now that STM makes the move to Division I Select.
Correct.
So Carencro STM very well could play again down the road.
Right.
We saw Acadiana Carencro last year. So what says STM and Carencro meet again? Yep. How about Acadiana and Ruston? Two heavyweights fighting on Friday night in Ruston. And Ruston would get the win here, 35-27. Two teams that played for a state title last year. Ruston brought the title home. Acadiana fell in the title game, but showing here in week one that they're going to be a force to reckon with this season. Not much drop off from both of these teams.
Both of these teams are awesome. You might have a repeat, in the championship game. You have Acadiana with their tradition and Ruston. I'm sorry, Ruston is Ruston. They're just so good and they're so strong. I'm excited to see what they're going to do. And like I said, this is just week one.
Yes.
And look at what we've seen.
Yes,
Man,
my
unbelievable.
Let's give out some games of the week, my friend.
Right?
Start us off, my friend.
Well, I got 3 games of the week. I said Central of Baton Rouge over De La Salle. To me, that was a statement game for Central. They had to basically say, hey, we're here. We're not Catholic of Baton Rouge, but we're Central, and we're still part of that city and all that. So I put that as one. Gina over Mangum. I think that was a real exciting game, statement game for that. Gina, they're doing, and St. Thomas More and Carencro. That was my 3 games of the week.
I have 2 of your 3.
Okay.
So I will leave off those 2.
Okay.
Rummel and LCA,
Right.
the battle in the Superdome, lived up, and it was game of the night. Let's see, Catholic of Baton Rouge and Destrehan, the victory there at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Airline and Barb's Thriller.
That was some great games, man. There was
Notre-
a bunch of them.
Notre Dame and Southside's Thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Westgate and Lake Charles College Prep's Thriller. Vermilion Catholic and Catholic of New Iberia's Thriller.
You just had a lot of them, Mr. Jordy.
Ruston and Acadiana, and like you said STM game
Yeah.
and Gina game. I completely agree with
Yeah.
you.
Unbelievable.
It's going to be hard to top week one.
Well,
moving
and
forward.
like I said, all of those were that, but I like to limit myself to 3, and that's why I try to do that. But man, this week there were so many good ones,
we did have some upsets across the state of Louisiana.
Right. Mine was pretty simple. I thought Erath over Laurelville was an upset because I think Laurelville was expected to dominate that game. Washington Marion over Abbeville. I think everybody thought Abbeville was going to do that. And believe it or not, OC over Iota. I think Iota was picked to be the winner of that. Picked to win it. But OC said not so fast.
You're neutralized on a muddy field.
Correct. That's what I'm saying. So that's my 3 upsets.
I got 5. I got 5 plus a bonus one.
Okay.
So I got 5 upsets plus a bonus here.
Okay.
Vinton knocking off Oberlin.
Right.
Big upset there. The defending district champs in Oberlin fall.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went Washington Marion over Abbeville also because they had to go into Abbeville and win, and
Correct.
Abbeville don't lose often at home.
Correct.
South Bow getting a big win over the Ritter, big
Correct.
upset win over the Ritter. That's a good
Right.
the Ritter football team they beat.
Yes.
Opelousas Catholic over Iota. Yes, I agree there. How about Ascension Episcopal
Yeah.
with the big win blowing out Kaplan.
Right. That was unexpected.
And then my final one is a bonus one. Pickering knocking off Gaydon is not really an upset, but they do end the longest losing streak in the state of Louisiana.
I have them for something else later, but I mean, yes, I agree, 100%.
Yes. UTL statement win of the week. Who gets it?
Well, I got 3. One of them we already said is OC versus Iota. I think that was a big statement game for OC. Nord Vermilion over Church Point. I think that was a statement game. That was like, hey, we're here and we mean it.
The new era begins.
Yeah, new era begins. And the way that it ended and the way that it is VC over Calica New Iberia, because Calica New Iberia was clicking.
For me, we said Catholic New
Yeah.
Iberia could be a contender.
Right.
Boy, did that they make us shut up our words.
Yeah, you're right. VC is still on top. So I think that was a statement case. We've seen Calica New Iberia play, and even though it was a jamboree, but VC came up and they were very strong. So that's my 3 statement games.
Gary, I got 5 for you.
Okay.
Dunham over Parkview Baptist, 46-0. Wow, did they really go out and make
Right.
a statement against a really good Parkview
Right.
Baptist program?
Right.
I was not expecting to
Yeah.
see that score.
I didn't
But
expect
when
that
you go
either.
and blow somebody out and goose egg them, that just shows you how good your quarterback is, how good your football team is in
Right.
2024.
Most definitely.
Logan Sport putting the state on notice with a blowout win over Manny on the road.
Right.
So I got to go Logan Sport. They're a huge threat in Division 4.
Most definitely.
Alexandria proven 3 straight weeks that they belong to start getting into everyone's conversations
Yes.
of sleeper teams out there over West Feliciana.
Yes, I'll agree with that.
Because of how well they played all 3 phases of the game, I got to give statement win of the week to Iowa over Jennings. I saw
Yes.
a team that came out hitting on all cylinders. They came out possessed, my man.
I'll agree. I will agree with you on that.
And Cecilia gets my final one over St. Martinville. No rust, no let off.
No.
They're still on the gas pedal. And Gary, when you go and beat them by 40, watch out, Cecilia. I expect records to be broken this
You're
year
right.
on offense.
Oh, I agree.
Helmet stickers of the week. Who is UTL giving their helmet stickers to?
I got 3.
Okay.
All right, and I think one of them is yours. I got Westminster Christian Academy of Lafayette.
Yes, sir.
First victory as a LHSAA high school
Good pick. Good pick.
team. So Westminster of Lafayette,
They
congratulations.
got a big win over Albany.
Right. I got this one. Is probably y'all probably thinking it's not worthy of a helmet sticker, but I think it is. Catholic of Baton Rouge coming back and winning at the end.
Yes.
Okay.
Because a resilient group
that didn't stop, and they came back and they won it at the
Hostile
end.
environment.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
And my last one is the Pickering Red Devils.
Yeah, good.
For
Good pick.
for basically ending the streak. Congratulations to Pickering with a 13-12 victory. You actually ended the longest losing streak in the state.
Who's got it now?
I'm not sure, I'll be honest with you.
Okay. Troy, who's got it now?
Troy, who's got the longest losing streak now?
Helmet stickers for myself. I got 5 for you. I would agree with you. Westminster of Lafayette gets my helmet sticker this week. You'll always remember the first one.
Right.
First career win in program history.
Correct.
As a varsity program. Number 2, there was another team that picked up their first career win as a varsity program
Right.
in Prairieville. First official game, they get a win over Thrive Academy, if I'm not mistaken.
I didn't realize that.
And they played their first one. And you remember the vote was made in the offseason where they approved them to be LHSAA approved in year 1.
Correct. Yeah, I knew that.
So,
I knew that was that, but I didn't know it was starting.
Big win. You always remember your first. So back-to-back helmet stickers are going to programs who earned their first career win.
Right.
And then I got to go helmet stickers to the 3 winners this week on UTL Games with Broadcast.
Right.
I start off with Alleyway on Thursday. Coach Johns, congratulations to the program. Phenomenal football team, well coached.
Great game.
Great game, and thank you for the hospitality. A last-minute add to the list.
Correct.
So a helmet sticker goes there, and we also say thank you to Miss Mama Corbella for the cookies.
Oh, most definitely. Most definitely.
Northwest Raiders gets a big win on Friday over Eunice in a game that was really a defensive struggle for most of the game,
Right.
Gary. And you take a look at that, and it's like, okay, let your playmaker and Kevon Johnson, really take over the game in the second half.
Correct.
0-0 halftime score, you don't see it often.
Right.
But Northwest prevailing at the end. Late score made
Right.
the game closer than what it was expected. 21-14
Correct.
final there. Northwest Raiders on their home turf gets the win, and they get my helmet sticker.
Right.
And my final one goes to the Kinder Yellow Jackets coach Justin Reed.
Right.
Boy, did he have his team ready to play today.
Yeah.
They were hitting on all 3 phases of the game. Offense, defense, special teams. They earned it. They deserve it. And I say Kinder Yellow Jackets helmet sticker of the week.
And when it seemed like they were getting close, they just pressed on the gas and took it out and took them out. So yes, I agree 100% with what you got.
Let's get you ready for week 2. Get excited, ladies and gentlemen. Next week, St. Charles versus Lutcher. Alexandria Senior High versus Union Parish. That's going to be a dandy.
Yeah.
Sam Houston and Turlings. Expect a lot of offense in that one.
Yeah, it's going to really be exciting.
Karen Crow and Lafayette Christian Academy. Fireworks 08.
And that right down the street from each other.
Zachary and Acadiana.
Yes.
Renewing the rivalry there that has met in the playoffs in the Dome. Now we get in the regular season.
Big Z.
Rummel and ULAB meet next week. That's going to be 2 great programs going head to head.
That's going to be exciting.
Edna Cora, Opelousas High. It's a date.
Yep. I'm excited about that game. All we got to do now is find the location.
Yes. Westgate, Calvary Baptist. This one is for sure going to be one that they're all talking about next week in North Louisiana.
Yes, sir.
Catholic of Baton Rouge versus St. Thomas More. Does it get any better than that?
That is going to be awesome. Is that in Lafayette?
Yes,
or in
sir.
Baton Rouge?
Lafayette.
Look out.
Battle of the State Champions next week. Brother Martin and St. Paul's meets up next week. 2 teams that should be deep playoff run contenders here. Denham Springs is better this year. They meet Central of Baton Rouge next week. Going to be a great football game there.
Right.
Neville makes the trip down to South Side. Excited to see those guys come here. Santa Mont and Cecilia meet next week. That one should be in for a treat. We'll see the Diesel Solari show.
Yep.
Tioga and Leesville next week. Jesuit versus E.D. White next week. Amite versus Hammond. Newman versus Riverside next week. Jennings and Eunice. St. Aug and East St. John. Northside and Sulphur, and I'm sure we got a lot more in the chamber next week that we will break down on Wednesday.
Right.
Hopefully we make some better picks next Wednesday, my friend. But
I think we all kind of were not doing so good this week. But hey, that's what week 1 is. We got to see where everybody's going.
Yes, indeed, my friend. Let's close the door on week 1. Let's get ready for a great week 2 because it was one to remember in week 1.
Right, exciting. Didn't expect all the bad weather. Ended up picking up an extra game this week because of the Thursday. We did one Thursday, that was basically supposed to be. We were supposed to do the Saturday game Thursday, but so that got all rescheduled. So we ended up doing an extra game. So we might have, if we keep on adding a game like this, man, we're gonna be some tired people. But hey, it's high school football. We love it, and I'm just so excited about it.
The
So
15-week
look
grind has begun.
that's right. It has begun, and you know what? We keep on saying this. Okay, now that it's started, before you know it, it's going to be
In the dome.
in the dome, and it seems like as each
We'll be having
week
some
goes
jambalaya
by,
with Troy.
as each week goes by, it gets faster and faster and faster. So it's like before you know it, it's going to be December, and we're going to be in the dome.
We'll have some jambalaya with Troy at the Superdome this year.
That's right. That's right.
But you think to yourself, Gary, as we close this one out, some phenomenal games, memorable moments, 3 games on Under the Lights, and I think we handled the pressure and the last second changes well as a group.
Oh,
and I
most
want to
definitely.
thank my staff for dealing with my crazy reschedules and adding games and the travels that we
Yeah.
had to encounter this week.
Well, hey, that's what we do. We love what we do, and we, hey, wouldn't ask for anything better, anything more. High school football. Remember, we're not doing this for us. We're doing this for the kids to give them exposure and to let everybody know that how exciting we are, how excited we are about high school football.
Passion.
Passion. That's what it is.
A lot of passion. But let's close it out. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks everyone for tuning in. We'll see you Wednesday at the Pick'em Show Week 2. And then, Gary, we have Thursday night football, Friday night football, and then a Friday night recap show unless weather starts canceling games again.
That's right.
And we'll improvise. But for myself, Mr. Gary Swallow, Miss Naya in the back, we say goodbye. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you next Wednesday. God bless you all. God bless high school football and forever UTL.
Yes.